The alarm woke Captain from his sleep. He jumped out of bed and ran to the bridge of his ship, the Wanderer's Light. His small crew was already there, staring at the screens with worried faces. "What is it?" asked, sliding into his captain's chair. His chief engineer pointed at the display. "Distress beacon, Captain. It's close, maybe 2 hours away at our current speed." Leaned forward. His ship was an exploration vessel, one of only 17 that humanity had sent into deep space. They were far from Earth, mapping new star systems and looking for planets humans might one day call home. They were not supposed to find other people out here. "Can you tell what kind of ship it is?" asked. "No, sir," said. "The signal is weak, but it's definitely artificial. Someone made that beacon." Felt his heart beat faster. This could be it. First contact with alien life. Humanity had wondered for centuries if they were alone in the universe. Now maybe they had an answer. "Set course for the beacon," ordered, "and wake up. If there are survivors, we'll need our medical officer." The next 2 hours felt like days. The crew of the Wanderer's Light worked quietly, checking their translation software and preparing their small medical bay. None of them spoke about what they were all thinking. What if the aliens were hostile? Their ship had only basic weapons, meant for destroying asteroids, not fighting wars. When they finally arrived, they found a ship drifting in space. It was beautiful and strange, with curved walls that seemed to flow like water. But it was also damaged. Large holes in its hull, and debris floated around it like a cloud. "Life signs?" asked. "One," said from behind him. The medical officer had arrived on the bridge, his equipment bag already on his shoulder. "Faint, but there. We need to hurry." They suited up and crossed to the alien ship through an airlock that barely held pressure. Inside, the walls glowed with soft blue light. Everything was too tall, too wide. Whoever built this ship was much larger than humans. They found him in what looked like a command center. He was tall, nearly 8 feet, with skin that shimmered like oil on water. His breathing was shallow, and strange blue blood pooled beneath him. "Help me," said, pulling out his scanner. "I don't know his biology, but I know dying when I see it." They carried the alien back to the Wanderer's Light. Worked for 6 hours straight, using human medicine and guesswork to keep their guest alive. Helped, running back and forth between the medical bay and her engineering station, trying to understand the alien technology they had brought with them. Finally, the alien's eyes opened. They were golden and bright, and they stared at with something that looked like surprise. "You saved me," the alien said. The words came through their translation device, choppy but clear. "I am Ambassador of the Concordance." "I'm Captain of Earth," replied. "You're safe now." Over the next few days, healed and told them his story. His people, though, were part of a peaceful alliance of 4 alien species. They traded, shared knowledge, and kept peace across dozens of star systems. But they had an enemy, the Empire. "They are conquerors," explained, his voice heavy with sadness. "They take worlds and enslave everyone they find. They attacked my ship because I was investigating their movements. I barely escaped." Felt cold fear spread through his chest. How big is this empire? "They have consumed 47 species," said. "Their fleet numbers in the thousands. They are the greatest threat our galaxy has known." That night couldn't sleep. He stood on the bridge, staring at the stars, thinking about Earth, his home, his family, 3 billion people who had no idea that monsters were lurking in the dark. Found him there. The ambassador moved slowly, still recovering from his injuries. "You are worried," said. It wasn't a question. "How far is this empire from Earth?" asked. Was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked, "Where is Earth?" Showed him on the star map. His face changed. His golden eyes went wide and his breathing quickened. "No," whispered. "No, that cannot be right." What is it?" "Earth is directly in their path," said. "They are expanding into this sector. In a year, maybe less, they will find your world." Felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. We need to warn Earth. We need to prepare. How many ships does Earth have? Asked. How strong are your defenses? Thought about it. We have 17 exploration ships like mine, small vessels for science and mapping, and we have a border patrol that watches our colonies. That's all. Looked horrified. What about your military fleet, your battle stations? Our colonies are new, explained. We've only been in space for 50 years. We're still learning. The border patrol keeps things safe, but we've never needed anything more than that. Seemed to shrink. He sat down heavily, as if his legs couldn't hold him anymore. Your people don't know, do they? Said. You don't know what's coming. Now we do, said firmly, and we'll be ready. But even as he said it, wondered if that was true. 17 exploration ships and a border patrol against an empire that had destroyed 47 civilizations. How could Earth possibly survive? Looked at him with eyes full of pity. Captain, I must speak with my people. The Concordants must know about Earth. Perhaps we can help. Perhaps we can save your species before it's too late. We would be grateful for any help, said. That night sent his message home to the council. He told them about the brave humans who had saved his life. He told them about Earth's location. And he told them that a young, innocent species was about to be wiped out unless someone did something. He sent pictures of the Wanderer's light, calling it one of humanity's warships. He sent data about Earth's 3 public colony worlds, not knowing there were more. He painted a picture of a species that was kind, curious, and completely unprepared for what was coming. Watched the message go out and felt hope for the first time since learning about maybe that could help. Maybe Earth wasn't alone after all. He didn't know that message would cause panic across the Concordance. He didn't know that the galaxy was about to make a terrible, wonderful mistake about humanity. He only knew that Earth needed friends, and maybe they had just found some. The council chamber floated in orbit above their beautiful green world. Inside, representatives from dozens of species gathered in the circular room. Today, they had received an urgent message from Ambassador, and what they heard made them afraid. The images are clear, his voice said from the recording. Humanity has only 17 vessels for deep space. Their technology is primitive. Basic warp drives, kinetic weapons, no energy shields, and their location. He paused, and the star map appeared on every screen in the chamber. They are directly in the expansion path. The room erupted in worried voices. Species from across the chamber spoke in dozens of languages, all translated instantly into the common tongue. Another species to be destroyed, one delegate said sadly. How long do they have? Asked another. Months, maybe a year at most, someone answered. At the back of the chamber, Counselor sat very still. She was human, the first of her kind to ever serve on the council. She had left Earth 30 years ago as a young diplomat, choosing to live among the stars and represent her people in galactic affairs. Now she stared at the data about Earth's fleet and felt something strange. Confusion, then understanding, then the urge to laugh, which she fought down hard. The High Counselor, an ancient being named, raised his hand for silence. The chamber quieted. We must discuss what can be done, said. The Concordance was founded on the principle that no species should face extinction alone. The humans saved Ambassador's life. Now we must try to save theirs. But what can we do? A delegate asked. They are too powerful. We can barely defend ourselves against them. We can offer the humans protection, another suggested. Bring them into the Concordance. If they accept our authority, they might hesitate to attack. They have never hesitated before, someone countered. Then we send ships, a military advisor stood up. We deploy a defensive fleet to human space. We show that Earth is not alone. That could work, said thoughtfully. If we move quickly, we could position our forces before they arrive, make it too costly for them to attack. Stood up, honored counselors, may I speak? All eyes turned to her. She felt their pity, their sadness. They thought they were watching her world die. "Please, counselor," said gently, "we know this must be difficult for you." "I appreciate the council's concern," said carefully, "but I think there may be some confusion about Earth's military capabilities. These 17 ships that mentioned are all you have." "Yes," interrupted softly. "We understand. Your people are young. You have not yet developed the technology for large-scale fleet production." "That's not exactly." "Counselor," another delegate said kindly, "we know you want to believe your people can defend themselves, but the data is clear. Captain told that Earth has only exploration vessels and a small border patrol. Against this is nothing." Opened her mouth to explain, then stopped. She looked around the chamber at all these kind, concerned faces. They wanted to help. They were ready to risk their own ships and soldiers to protect a species they had just learned about, and they weren't listening to her. She had been away from Earth for 3 decades. Maybe things had changed. Maybe Earth really was as weak as believed. But no, she knew her people. She knew how humans thought, how they prepared for dangers they couldn't see yet. And she knew that Captain had probably been very, very polite in his explanation of Earth's forces. "Very well," said, sitting back down. "Then I thank the Council for their compassion." The debate continued for hours. Finally, they voted. The Concordance would send a rescue fleet to Earth, 43 ships, their largest humanitarian deployment in history. They would arrive in 3 months and offer humanity protection, along with membership in the Concordance as a protected species. As the Council adjourned, walked quickly back to her private quarters. Her hands shook as she activated her secure communication system. It took time to send a message to Earth. The distance was vast, and she had to use old protocols that she hoped still worked. Finally, the connection opened. She began to record. "This is Counselor, sending to United Earth Defense Command on maximum encryption. The Concordance has learned about Earth's location and the threat. They believe we are defenseless. They are sending a fleet to protect us." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "They think our exploration ships are warships. They think our border patrol is our entire military. They don't know about the colonies we keep classified. They don't know anything about our actual defense forces. I tried to explain, but they wouldn't listen. They see us as children who need saving." Took a deep breath. "I'm sending this warning because I don't want them to jump into Earth space and get shot down by our defensive systems. They're coming to help, not invade. Please, please make sure Earth's fleet knows this. They will arrive in approximately 3 months. They're good people. They're just wrong about us." She ended the recording and sent it through the old diplomatic channels. Then she sat in her quarters and wondered what would happen when they arrived at Earth and saw the truth. Across the galaxy, news of the rescue mission spread. The Concordance was trying to save a primitive species from the. Some species sent supplies to help. Others sent messages of support. A few placed bets in underground markets about how long Earth would survive. Everyone knew about the humans now. The brave little species with 17 ships who had saved an ambassador. The doomed people who didn't even know death was coming for them. Stories spread through the galactic networks. Humans were kind, it was said. They had medical skills that worked on biology even though they had never seen it before. Their captain had risked his small ship to save a stranger. They were worth saving. But everyone agreed on one thing. Earth could not defend itself. The humans were too young, too inexperienced, too few in number. Without them, humanity would be extinct within a year. On the flagship, preparations began. Admiral, a veteran of many conflicts, reviewed the data on human space. He looked at the 17 exploration ships and felt sadness. Then he looked at his 43 warships and felt pride. His fleet would make a difference. They would save Earth. He sent a message to Captain. "Tell your people help is coming. Tell them they are not alone. The Concordance stands with Earth." Received the message on the Wanderer's light. He read it 3 times, then forwarded it to Earth. He added a note. "They think they're rescuing us. Should I tell them the truth?" The reply from Earth came 2 days later. It was short and simple. "No, let them come. We'll explain everything in person. And welcome home, you did well." Smiled, he looked at, who stood nearby with a hopeful expression. "Your people are sending help," said. "Thank you, Ambassador." "No thanks are needed," replied. "We are only doing what is right. Your people will be safe." Nodded and said nothing more. But deep inside he felt something strange. Not relief or gratitude, but anticipation. The fleet was in for quite a surprise. Fleet Admiral was drinking coffee when the encrypted message arrived. He was in his office at United Earth Defense Command in Geneva, reviewing supply reports for the outer colonies. It was supposed to be a quiet morning. The computer beeped 3 times. Maximum encryption. Priority 1. He sat up straight and opened the file. Counselor's face appeared on screen. She looked worried. Listened to her message once, then twice, then a 3rd time. Then he started laughing. His assistant commander heard him from the next room and rushed in. "Sir, are you all right?" "They think we're helpless," said, wiping tears from his eyes. "The aliens think Earth has 17 ships and nothing else." "What aliens?" asked, confused. Played the message for her, listened with growing amazement. When it ended, she was quiet for a long moment. "They're coming to save us," she said slowly. "In 3 months, confirmed. And they think Captain's exploration ship is a warship." "Yes. And they don't know about our real fleet." "Correct." Sat down. "Oh no." "Oh yes," grinned. "Get President on the line and wake up every fleet commander. We need an emergency meeting. Now." 2 hours later, the Situation Room was full. Admirals, generals, and defense ministers crowded around the large table. Holographic displays showed star maps, fleet positions, and ship counts. President stood at the head of the table, her face serious. "Let me make sure I understand," she said. "Aliens exist. They're peaceful. They think we're about to be destroyed by an evil empire. And they're sending 43 ships to protect us because they believe we only have 17 vessels total." "That's correct," Madam President said. "And where did they get this idea?" "Captain told them about our exploration ships and mentioned the border patrol. They assumed that was everything." Someone at the table laughed, then someone else. Soon the whole room was filled with surprised laughter. "To be fair," said, pulling up data on the screens, "wasn't lying. We do have 17 exploration ships, and we do have a border patrol." "Show them the rest," ordered. Typed on her console. Numbers appeared on every screen in the room. The laughter died away as people read the statistics. Active military vessels. 847 battle cruisers. 2,340 destroyer-class ships. 6,100 corvettes and frigates. 15,000 fighter craft. 89 orbital defense platforms around Earth. 340 defense platforms across all colonies. 12 mobile fleet bases. 34 colony worlds with full defensive systems. The Border Patrol mentioned, continued, is the Customs and Border Protection Fleet. They check cargo ships and enforce trade laws. They have 156 vessels. None of them are warships. And the exploration ships are science vessels, someone added. Civilian registered. We built them for research, not combat. President stared at the numbers. They don't know any of this. They only saw what we made public, explained. When humanity first went to the stars, we agreed to keep our military strength classified. We didn't know if we'd meet friends or enemies out there. So we showed the galaxy our scientists and explorers, not our soldiers. Smart, the president said. But now we have a problem. These are coming here to save us. What do we do when they arrive and see the truth? The room fell silent. Everyone thought about the same question. We could send a message, someone suggested. Tell them we're fine, thank them for the offer but say we don't need help." "That might offend them," another person said. "They're trying to do something good. If we reject their help, they might think we're arrogant." "We could meet them with a small force," offered. "Just a few ships, ease them into the truth slowly." Or said quietly, "We show them everything." Everyone looked at him. "Think about it," the admiral continued. "They are peaceful, they're coming here to help. That means they're good people. And Counselor says there's a real threat. This empire, if it's as dangerous as they claim, we're going to need allies." "You want to reveal our full strength," President said. "Yes, let them come to Earth. Let them see what humanity has built. Yes, they'll be surprised, maybe embarrassed, but they'll also know that Earth can defend itself, that we're not children who need protection, that we're potential partners, not charity cases." "It's risky," someone warned. "So is hiding," replied. "They are out there. Eventually they'll find us whether we're ready or not. Better to have friends before that happens." President thought for a long time, then she nodded. "We let them come," she decided, "but we prepare properly. I want Earth's home fleet ready for a formal military greeting, all 200 vessels. I want our defense platforms visible, not hidden. I want them to jump into the Sol system and see exactly what Earth can do." "They'll be shocked," said. "Good," the president replied. "Let them be shocked. Then let's talk about becoming real allies, not saviors and victims." Orders went out across human space. Fleet commanders received their instructions. Ships that had been on patrol began moving back toward Earth. Defense platforms that normally stayed hidden powered up their systems. Orbital stations prepared for visitors. The word spread quickly through Earth's military. Aliens were real. Aliens were coming. And aliens thought humanity was weak. In bars and mess halls across Earth's fleet, soldiers laughed and made jokes. They wondered what they would say when they saw a real human battlecruiser. They placed bets on how quickly the alien fleet would panic. But Admiral didn't laugh. He stood in his office looking at reports about the Empire. 47 species destroyed, thousands of ships, entire worlds enslaved. They were right to be afraid. They were right to think they were coming. They were just wrong about Earth's ability to fight back. Opened a secure channel to Captain, still traveling back to Earth with Ambassador. "Captain, this is Admiral. I want you to know that Earth appreciates what you did. You saved an ambassador and made first contact. You did everything right. Don't worry about the confusion. We'll handle it." "Thank you," Admiral replied. "Should I tell the truth?" "Thought about it? No, let him see it himself. Let his people see it. Sometimes the best way to make an impression is to exceed expectations." "Understood, sir." 3 months. That's how long they had until they arrived. 3 months to prepare, to position the fleet, to get ready for humanity's first real introduction to the galactic community. In the Senate chambers, President addressed the United Nations. "We are not alone in the universe," she told them, "and we are not helpless. When our new friends arrive, we will show them what humanity has become. We will show them that Earth stands ready, and we will offer them what they offered us: alliance, partnership, friendship." The vote was unanimous. Earth would welcome and Earth would show them everything. Admiral sent one final message to the home fleet commanders. "Prepare for full honor guard formation. Polish the hulls, check the weapons, make sure everything works perfectly. In 3 months, the galaxy is going to learn what humanity really looks like. Let's make it count." Ambassador stood on the bridge of the flagship, the Morning Hope. Around him, 42 other ships traveled through space in perfect formation. It was the largest rescue fleet the Concordance had ever sent. "How long until we reach Earth?" he asked. 10 minutes, the ship's captain replied. "We'll exit warp just beyond their moon." Felt nervous. He had spent 3 months preparing for this moment. He had written speeches about friendship and protection. He had studied human culture from the limited data available. He had even learned a few words in their language. But mostly he felt sad. He remembered Captain's kind face, engineers' clever hands, doctors' gentle care. They had saved his life, and now he was coming to save their world, knowing it might not be enough. They were too strong. Even with protection, Earth might still fall. "Ambassador," someone called out. "We're receiving a message from Earth, text only. It says, 'Welcome to Sol System. Please maintain current course. You are cleared for approach to Earth orbit. Honor Guard is standing by.'" "Honor Guard," repeated. "They shouldn't waste resources on ceremony. They need every ship for defense." The captain nodded. "Perhaps it's their way. Let them have their pride." "1 minute to exit," the navigator announced. Took a deep breath. This was it. First contact between two civilizations. The coming to Earth not as conquerors but as protectors. It should have been a happy moment. Instead, he felt like he was watching someone's funeral. Exiting warp in 3, 2, 1. The stars stopped streaking. The fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel into normal space near Earth's moon. Sensors immediately began scanning the system. Then every alarm on every ship started screaming at once. "Contact," the sensor officer shouted. "Multiple contacts, I'm reading. Wait, that can't be right." "Report," the captain ordered. "Ships, sir, hundreds of them, they're everywhere. Around the moon, in orbit of Earth, near that red planet, even in the asteroid belt. I'm counting. 200, no 300. I can't get an accurate count. They're all around us." His hearts froze. Had they jumped into a trap? Were these ships? Had they already taken Earth? "Identify those vessels," he demanded. The sensor officer's hands shook as he worked. They're human ships, sir, all of them. Human design, human signals, but the size. Some of these ships are massive, 3 times larger than our flagship. And the weapons signatures. Ambassador, these aren't exploration vessels." On the main screen, an image appeared. A ship floated in space directly ahead of them. It was enormous, covered in armor plating with weapon ports along every surface. It looked like it had been built for one purpose only: war. "Incoming hail," communications reported. "Audio and visual." "Put it through," whispered. A human appeared on screen. He wore a military uniform with stars on his collar. His face was strong and serious. Behind him, the bridge of his ship bustled with activity. Dozens of officers worked at stations that looked far more advanced than anything had seen on the Wanderer's light. "This is Captain of the United Earth ship Indomitable," the human said in perfect common tongue. "On behalf of humanity and President, I welcome you to Earth. We are honored by your visit and grateful for your concern for our safety." Could barely speak. "Captain, where are all these ships? What is happening?" Smiled slightly. "These are Earth's home fleet, Ambassador. We maintain 200 vessels in the Sol system for defense. When we learned of your arrival, we wanted to provide proper military honors for our guests." 200 ships, repeated, "in one system." "We have more at our colonies," said casually, "but we thought this would be sufficient for your welcome." The bridge of the Morning Hope was silent. Every officer stared at their screens in disbelief. But Captain said, started. "Captain told you about our exploration ships," interrupted gently. "The Wanderer's Light is a civilian science vessel. We have 17 of them, just as he said. We also have a border patrol for managing commercial traffic. And then we have the military fleet. I apologize for any confusion." Sat down heavily in a chair. His mind raced. "The border patrol, that's not your military." "No, Ambassador. The border patrol is part of our customs service. They check cargo, enforce trade regulations. They're not equipped for combat." "And the Wanderer's Light, that was a civilian ship." "Yes, one of our nicest research vessels. We're very proud of her." Put his face in his hands. "We thought you were defenseless." "We know," said kindly. "It was an honest mistake." Another screen activated. A new face appeared. recognized her immediately. Counselor, but she wasn't on the council station. She was on Earth, standing in what looked like a government building. "Hello," Ambassador said. She was trying not to smile. "I tried to explain at the council meeting. They wouldn't listen." "You knew," said. "I've been away for 30 years, replied. "But I know my people. We prepare for threats we can't see yet. It's what humans do. When you told us about the Earth wasn't surprised. We've been watching them for years. We just didn't know they were this close." The censor officer spoke up again, his voice shaking. "Ambassador, I've completed the scan of the human fleet. The flagship, this indomitable, has more firepower than our entire rescue fleet combined. And there are 50 more ships just like it." "Actually, there are 70, corrected. Plus destroyers, corvettes, and support vessels. But who's counting?" Looked at the data streaming across his screens. Orbital defense platforms that could destroy moons. Fighter wings larger than some species' entire space forces. Weapons technology that they had never seen before. Earth wasn't a helpless child. Earth was a sleeping giant. "How did we not know?" asked. "How did the galaxy not know?" "We were careful," explained. "When humanity first went to space, we didn't know what we'd find. So we showed the universe our explorers and scientists. We kept our military classified. We wanted to make friends first, before anyone decided we were a threat." "Are you a threat?" asked quietly. His expression became serious. "Only to those who threaten us or our friends, Ambassador. Earth builds weapons because the universe is dangerous, but we don't want war. We want exactly what you offered us: alliance, partnership, peace." Captain's face appeared on another screen. He was still aboard the Wanderer's light, docked at a human station. "Ambassador said, I'm sorry I didn't explain more clearly. I thought you understood we were a science ship." "It's not your fault," said tiredly. "I made assumptions, we all did." "Your intentions were good," replied. "You came here to help, that means everything to us." Stood up slowly. He looked at the Morning Hope's captain. "Send a message to the rest of our fleet. Stand down from rescue formation. We're not saving Earth today. We're visiting a potential ally." He turned back to the screen showing. "Captain, I believe we need to have a longer conversation about the concordance, about what comes next." "Agreed," said. "President has invited your entire fleet to Earth orbit. We've prepared quarters for your crews. And Ambassador, we've prepared a meeting room for diplomatic talks. Real talks, between equals." "Equals," repeated. He liked that word. "Yes, I think the council needs to reconsider a few things." "One more thing," added. "They are still out there, still expanding, still a threat. We know you came here to protect us, but Ambassador, maybe it's time we protected each other." Looked at the massive human fleet surrounding his ships. He thought about the 47 species that had destroyed. He thought about the struggles to hold them back. And he thought about what could happen if Earth joined that fight. "Captain," said slowly, "how fast can your fleet move to space?" Raised an eyebrow. "Are you asking for help, Ambassador?" "I'm asking for partnership," replied. "They will come to Earth eventually, but right now they're threatening colonies. If Earth is as strong as you appear, if you're willing to stand with us." "Say no more," smiled. "Let me contact Admiral. I think he'll be very interested in this conversation." 1 week later, Ambassador walked through the United Earth Defense Command headquarters in Geneva. Everything amazed him. The building was underground, protected by layers of armor and shield generators. Thousands of people worked here, coordinating Earth's defense across dozens of star systems. He was not alone. The entire delegation walked with him. 43 ship captains, all trying not to stare at everything they saw. Admiral met them in the main briefing room. It was huge, with holographic displays showing star maps, fleet positions, and enemy movements. Human officers worked at stations around the edges of the room. "Welcome," said, shaking his hand. "Please sit, we have much to discuss." For 2 hours explained Earth's military. He showed them ship designs, weapon systems, and defensive strategies. He explained how humans thought about war. "We don't use energy shields like most species," said, pointing to a hologram of a battle cruiser. "We tried them. They work well, but they have problems. They drain too much power. They fail when they're overloaded, and they're expensive." "So you use armor instead," said. "Layered armor," Commander added. "Multiple types of metal and ceramic. If the outer layer gets damaged, there are 5 more layers beneath it. Our ships can take hits that would destroy a shielded vessel." "And your weapons," another captain said. "We noticed they're kinetic, not energy-based." "Confirmed. We fire metal projectiles at incredible speeds. They punch through energy shields easily. Most species rely on shields for defense, so they're vulnerable to our weapons." Leaned forward. "You designed your military specifically to fight enemies with shields." "We designed our military to fight enemies we hadn't met yet," corrected. "When we studied basic physics, we realized energy shields would be a common defense, so we built weapons that could defeat them." Clever admitted. "Necessary," replied. "We're far from the galactic center. We're alone out here. We had to assume that anyone we met might be hostile." "But you still sent exploration ships," said. "Like the Wanderer's Light, unarmed science vessels." "Because we also hope to meet friends," smiled. "Like you." Captain entered the room, now wearing a military uniform with medals on his chest. Was surprised to see how many decorations the young captain had earned. "Captain," said warmly, "it's good to see you." "And you, Ambassador. I hear Earth and thee are discussing an alliance." "More than discussing," President said, entering the room. Everyone stood. She waved them back to their seats. "We've been studying the data you provided about the Empire. They're a serious threat, not just to those, but to everyone in this region of space." "Earth wants to help?" asked hopefully. "Earth wants to survive," replied honestly. "They will find us eventually. Better to face them with allies than alone, and better to face them in space than here at Earth." She activated a new hologram. It showed the Empire's territory, a massive red blob spreading across the star map. "They have been expanding for 200 years, continued. "They've destroyed 47 species, enslaved billions of people. They won't stop until someone stops them." "They have tried," said quietly. "We're not strong enough." "Alone, no," agreed. "But together, maybe." Suddenly, alarms rang throughout the building. Officers rushed to their stations. Screens lit up with urgent messages. "What's happening?" demanded. Read from her screen, her face pale. "Scouts have been detected in the sector. 3 jump points from Earth. Multiple contacts moving fast." "That's not possible," said. "Our intelligence said they wouldn't reach this far for at least 6 months." "Intelligence was wrong," said grimly. He turned to his staff. "Get me 3rd Fleet, full battle readiness. I want deployment orders ready in 10 minutes." 3rd Fleet asked, "How many ships is that?" 300, answered, "plus support vessels." Stood up fast. "You can't send 300 ships. That's more than we have in our entire defensive line, if you commit that many forces." "Ambassador," interrupted, "Earth has 12 fleets. 3rd Fleet is our rapid response force. They're designed for exactly this situation." The captains looked at each other in shock. 12 fleets. Earth had 12 fleets, each one larger than this entire military. "But those scouts are near space," protested. "Why would Earth risk so many ships for us?" President walked over too. She looked him in the eyes. "Because you risked 43 ships for us," she said simply. "Because you came here to save people you'd never met. Because when Captain found you dying in space, he didn't ask if you were worth saving. He just saved you. That's what allies do." Felt something strange. His eyes filled with tears. In his long life, he had never met anyone quite like humans. Within an hour, 3rd Fleet was mobilizing. 300 warships prepared to jump into space. Admiral would command the operation personally. In the briefing room, he explained the plan to the captains. "The scouts are probing your defenses," said. "They're testing to see how strong you are, where your ships are positioned. If we let them report back, they will know exactly how to attack you." "So we destroy the scouts," a captain said. "No," corrected. "We show them something that will make them think very carefully about attacking." He zoomed in on the star map. "Here's where your defensive line is positioned, and here's where the scouts are operating. We're going to jump Third Fleet right between them, not to attack, just to be seen." "A show of force," understood. "Exactly. Let them see a human fleet. Let them run home and tell their commanders that they have new friends, friends with bigger guns." "Will it work?" someone asked. "It might buy us time," said. "Time to build a real alliance, time to combine our forces, time to figure out how to beat them permanently." Stood and bowed deeply, a gesture of great respect among his people. "Admiral, I don't know how to thank you." "Teach us about the," replied. "Share your intelligence, your combat experience, your knowledge. Help us understand what we're facing. That's all the thanks I need." On the Indomitable's bridge, Captain prepared for departure. Around him, 300 ships formed up in battle formation. They were the most powerful force Earth had ever deployed. "All ships report ready," his officer said. "Then let's go make an impression," ordered. "Jump in 3, 2, 1. The fleet vanished from Earth space and reappeared near the defensive line. The effect was immediate. Ships detected them instantly. Then the scouts saw them too. For a moment nothing happened. The human fleet simply sat there, weapons powered but not firing. A silent message. "We are here, we are strong, think twice." The scouts ran. They jumped away to faster-than-light speeds, racing back to their empire to report what they'd seen. On the Indomitable smiled. "Let them run. Let them tell their commanders that Earth has arrived." Stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Morning Hope, watching the human fleet. Commander had joined him, sent by Admiral to coordinate communications. "Your people are remarkable," said. "We are survivors," replied. "We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. We learned to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And now you're preparing to fight the—" "Now we're preparing to fight with our friends," corrected. "Big difference." Received a message from the Council. They had heard about Earth's deployment. They wanted to know everything. What were humans? How were they so strong? Why were they helping? He recorded his response carefully. "The humans are what we needed them to be," he said. "They are strong enough to stand beside us, kind enough to care about strangers, and brave enough to face the darkness together. I recommend we accept Earth's offer of alliance. We will need them in the days ahead." On Earth, President addressed the United Nations again. "Today we took our first step onto the galactic stage," she told them. "Not as conquerors, not as victims, but as partners. They came to save us. Instead, we'll save each other. The Empire threatened our new friends, so we showed them that Earth stands with them, and we'll keep standing together until the threat is gone." The vote was unanimous. Earth would join the Concordance as an equal member. Human fleets would help defend space. In return, they would share their technology, their knowledge, their friendship. In his office, Admiral looked at reports coming in from Third Fleet. The scouts had fled. The defensive line was holding, and the galaxy was talking about the humans who had appeared out of nowhere with a fleet that rivaled the great powers. He thought about Captain finding one injured ambassador and starting all of this. He thought about this kindness in trying to save a species they thought was doomed. And he thought about the future that would come. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they would come. When they did, they wouldn't find frightened prey. They would find Earth and the standing together. They would find two species who had learned the most important lesson in the galaxy. Nobody faces the darkness alone. Not anymore.